I've definitely been looking forward to reviewing this from Chuwi. It's like a budget Microsoft Surface Pro, so we've got a really stylish looking keyboard with trackpad, with the magnetic clip here. We got a stylus, and we've also got a 12.9 inch tablet with a kickstand on it as well, all magnetic. The keyboard and stylus are optional extras, so you can just have it as a tablet. And if we take the magnetic back off it, you can see that it's quite a nice looking tablet, reasonably slim. Not quite as slim as my iPad Pro, but pretty close. And from a size point of view, here it is compared to my 11-inch iPad. So let's pull off this protective cover. And we've got USB-A and a headphone jack on this side. On the base, we've got that magnetic port. Then we've got micro HDMI and a couple of USB-Cs. And on this end, we've got volume controls and power, I'm guessing. So let's see if we can switch that on. And this is booting up Windows 11 for the very first time. You see the keyboard comes up on its own. Looks like you don't have to create a Microsoft account. Just ask a few security questions and that's it. I'm going to need to give it some Wi-Fi to finish off the setup. And that's all connected. Yeah, looks good, nice and smooth. So keyboard wise, we pop this here and just plonk it on top. Made a little noise to say that it was connected. And the trackpad is working straight away. Is it a nice trackpad? Oh, it is a nice trackpad. You definitely get some trackpads just aren't particularly nice to use, but this feels lovely and responsive. You can see pinch to zoom works really nicely. And does the stylus work straight away? So is it, okay, so it doesn't move the page, but maybe it's more for drawing apps. So we press Windows and type in Paint. And let's see if we pick, oh, it's not doing anything at the moment, so I have to press something. There is an insulation sheet to remove before you can use it, because it does have a battery, so it's a smart stylus as well. Oh yeah, so it's on the base of the battery. So it's come with an alkaline battery, so not rechargeable. Batteries in stylus usually last for a long time. It's got a couple of buttons on it. It's got an erase button and a right click button. Oh, okay, so I'm drawing. That's without pressing a button. So if I pick a folder, and then if I pick this PC and then right click and press on it, it works like a right click. And so with erase, if I go back to paint, where's that gone? Down here. So if I call up the pencil and I make it a bit thicker, let's go red, and then draw on it, but then I can right click and I can erase it as well. So let's close this down, and I'm going to do a load of updates, so we'll get it updated and install some things on it. But I'm impressed, my cat seems to be very impressed as well. So that goes on like that, and then we have, yeah, nice. So it's a bit thicker with the keyboard and everything, but it's still pretty small. And we've even got a camera on here as well. So does that mean we've got two cameras? Yeah, we've got a webcam as well. And this appears to, like an iPad, it turns it on and turns it off. Nice. And I forgot to mention, power is USB-C and it's 12 volt, 24 watts. I'm currently charging it with my Raspberry Pi charger through USB-C, and both sockets work. So you can see it says it's charging at the moment, it's a little tiny symbol. But if I unplug it and plug it into the other one, and this has never been charged by me, and as you can see it's on 46%, and this is it charging from the second USB-C socket. And I'm surprised to see that it's actually got a backlit keyboard as well. So I'm going to dual boot this system, and I'm going to install Linux on it. But before I do that, I've got an HDMI to HDMI micro cable. Let's plug that in. Must be this way around. And see what dual monitor support is like. Okay, so that came on straight away. and you can see it's mirroring the display, so it's showing exactly the same on here as it is on here. I've tipped it back using its own stand, and if we go into display settings, so at the moment it's on duplicate list displays. So if we click on this drop down tab, we can extend the display, and we'll keep that for now. But we can also tell it where each monitor is. So if I do identify first, so that's monitor 2, this is monitor 1. So monitor 1 is underneath, monitor 2 is directly above it. The reason it shows 2 as the smaller monitor is because it's a much higher resolution. I'll say what it is in a minute. So if I do apply now, so we have Windows here, but also we can drag it up onto the top display. And you see it altered itself because it's a different resolution, and drag down to the bottom. But I'm going to use it for duplicate these displays for now, because I'm going to capture this screen and show you the specs. So this is a Chuwi Hi10Max. The resolution is 2880 by 1920, so 3K resolution. Pretty much a 13-inch display, 4096 pressure level stylus. So it's a smart stylus, not one of the basic ones that you get with a phone. It's using the N100 processor. This is a really good processor. So if I do a search on my channel for N100, I've got both a Geekom and a MeLe mini PC. And both of them have been really impressive. So if you want to see some of the other things that run on an Intel N100, check out those 2 videos. I'll link them in the description. So 9mm and 780 grams. Metal unibody design, 12 gig of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. Windows is reporting this drive as an NVMe drive, which is nice to see. And if we run a test, let's see how fast it is. Well, good result, definitely an NVMe drive. If I move this over to here, and I'll pop on the screen now a test I did on the little MeLe mini PC where I compared the eMMC, which is the slower built-in drive, compared to an NVMe drive, and you can see that the speed was much quicker on the NVMe drive. And when we compare the speeds with the drive here in this tablet, so on the read speed we've got 3.2 versus 3.2, pretty much the same, but this second test was pretty much double the speed, as was the third test, but the fourth test was about half the speed. Now I am using this on battery, I don't know if that affects it, but I wouldn't have thought it would too much. But also on the write speeds, we are getting pretty much the same speed, about 500 faster on this one. This is more than double the speed, and this isn't quite as fast. So yeah, they have put a pretty fast drive inside this pretty budget tablet. Very impressive. So Windows 11 Home is pre-installed. We've got Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2, and the cameras are 8 megapixel rear and 5 megapixel front. So this is a picture from the front camera, and this is a picture from the rear camera. So it says 300 nits of brightness. It is a very bright display. A little close-up of the stand design. So the N100 is 4 cores, 4 threads, and 3.4 gigahertz. So it is pretty powerful, but it's also really efficient on power for an x64 processor. And the RAM is DDR5. Battery life is the thing that takes a bit of a hit, so 5 hours. You've got to weigh up the weight of the machine and also the fact that it's got an x64 processor in it, but I still think 5 hours is pretty reasonable. A bit of emulation now. This is Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX, which is a PlayStation 2 game, and I'm running this at 3 times resolution, so this is running at 1920 by 1080. Okay, so it looks nice. Yeah, it looks quick. Oh, a little bit of slowdown at 3 times. Still looks pretty decent. Oh, am I going to come out of that? Yeah, I did. Yeah, very impressive. I'd probably knock it down a little bit on the resolution to get it perfect, but that's actually very, very good. So we quit out of that. I'll just show you the graphics. So graphics is using OpenGL and it's 3 times native 1080. Very nice. As I say, I've got more N100 performance tests in those other 2 videos. So let's get Ubuntu on here. So Ubuntu Linux. And we'll just go with this version 2404.1. So that's downloading now. And while it's downloading, I'm going to download Raspberry Pi Imager to write the image to a USB stick. So download for Windows, and let's open that up. And yes to install. And that's already done. I've plugged in a 64 gig Samsung USB stick into one of the USB-A sockets, but it's definitely handy having these two USB-C sockets as well. Ubuntu has finished downloading now, so we can launch Raspberry Pi Imager, choose OS, scroll all the way to the bottom and use custom. Pick the Ubuntu image we've downloaded. Choose storage. That's my Samsung driver just plugged in. Hit next. And no for any settings and yes to write. And come back when that's all done. Now if I switch on and press function and tap F7, I get a boot menu. And I have an option for Samsung flash drive. Enter. Try or install Ubuntu. And it started up in portrait mode for some reason. I have tried to change it, but there doesn't seem to be an option in this sort of test version of Ubuntu. It'll be alright in the installed version. Okay, let's model through this with the mouse and keyboard, because obviously it's the wrong angle. So just do the normal English, UK. So I'm going to do install Ubuntu alongside Windows Boot Manager. So it's detected the NVMe drive is 509 gig. And we need to allocate it some space. So Ubuntu, let's give it 100 gig and say next. Pop your details in and a little summary, and we can hit install. Okay, so it says it's done. Let's hit restart. Please remove installation medium and press enter. And it starts Windows, so we probably have to go into the boot manager. So if I shut down, I can then restart, and we'll do the F7 again. And we've got Ubuntu on here now. Select that and hit enter. And enter. And we can log in. Oh, and this version has started the right way up. Perfect. And if we try the touchscreen, yeah, the touchscreen is working fine. So if we press the All Apps button, you can see all the apps come up. And if we call up the App Store, and we can slide down to minimize that and then move it around, all of that's working. Let's try the web browser. Of course, I haven't connected to Wi-Fi yet. Let's see if the Wi-Fi works. No adapter found. Oh. So I'm going to plug it in and update it and see if it can find the driver itself. So I have internet now because I've added a USB Ethernet adapter which is plugged in here, and you can see that's definitely working. I'm going to run some updates and see if that does it. So let's do Control-Alt-T and open a terminal and do sudo apt update. So let's do upgrade and yes. Okay, so I've restarted. Let's press the Windows key and start typing Wi-Fi, and let's see if it can find my Wi-Fi now. Oh yeah, it does, picks it up, and it picks up my printer as well. Perfect. Let's put the password in. Yeah, Wi-Fi showed up here. Wi-Fi strength looks decent as well, because I'm quite far away from my router in here. So let's see if Firefox is working fine. So BBC Sport, and I'm using the normal keyboard at the moment, and as you can see it's working fine, and pinch to zoom is working great as well. Multi-touch gestures, if we open a few apps, so the App Store and, well, this is all the things that are plugged in, and files, and then if I push 3 fingers forward on the trackpad, I get all the open apps, so I can switch between the apps. Yeah, that's nice. Let's sum up with a few things. So I like the material they put on this side, which is a sort of fake leather type material. So it looks like it would wear quite well. The material underneath is like felt, and you can see that it picks up things from, you know, around, even on surfaces that would appear to be pretty clear. It still seems to pick things up. So I'm not sure how hard wearing that will be, but it is kind to the surface that it's on, and the top surface is really good. But when you close it, that's the bit that's going to be on the outside, so you're going to want to keep this in a case. Picture wise, I've been really impressed with the screen. It's a really nice resolution and it does look really good. And if you look at it here next to my iPad, it's not bad. You really would expect the picture quality to look very different. I mean, it's more colour rich on the iPad, but this is a really high quality screen, much higher quality than most laptops, and it's holding its own pretty well. If I pause this, so sound wise this is set to half volume. As you can see, it's pretty puny. The iPad definitely swamps it, and if I turn the iPad up, it's got quite a lot more volume in it. I can turn this one up. Let's just, so if I do it this way, and we'll go at the full volume. It's clear, and speech is really clear, but there isn't a lot of bass there. But again, this is quite expected on a lot of tablets and laptops. If you put it up against a lot of laptops, it will sound very similar, but iPads just happen to sound really good. The flexibility is really good, so being able to run all sorts of operating systems, I really like that. And the fact that it's running a full desktop environment. I also wanted to point out that I've been using the stand wrong all this time. This is correct, but what I was doing before was, and it's because I've got a Fide tab, I was doing that, and this bit would slip down. I was thinking, oh, I wish they made the magnets a bit stronger. I was using it wrong. The magnets on this end are really strong, and all you do is you flip it all the way back, and I've looked back through all their pictures, and actually that's how they do it in their pictures. So the stand is really good. It will let you do all sorts of angles, so if you want to get rid of reflection, then you can really change that angle or just make it more comfortable. It's a really good design. And the magnet on this seems to be about right, really, so when it's in place you can pick it up and it doesn't fall off, but it comes off without a lot of stress. I really like the fact that it's got a backlit keyboard. I really wasn't expecting that. Okay, so I hope all this helps. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.